watching the W Show. Thanks to NAB, Daisy Pearce and Nat Edwards with you. Days, great to have you in again. Indigenous round, the first time in the AFLW. How exciting is that?
Very exciting. We've been lucky at Melbourne to be able to wear an Indigenous Guernsey when we've gone up to Alice Springs to play our game up there, but to see it a league-wide initiative this year, so exciting. Great opportunity to celebrate the role that Indigenous players have had in the game, and then just a learning exercise too. I mean, we're always all on a learning journey, and this is a great chance to start some of those conversations this week.
It certainly is. We'll chat more about Indigenous round in just a moment, but plenty making news in the world of AFLW. Let's get through it. Well, the big news, Maddie Prespakis, her one-match ban at the tribunal has failed to overturn that, so she'll miss this week. Border restrictions could mean clubs have to play the same opponent twice in this 9-week season. The undefeated Pies stake their claim as a flag contender. And the NAB Rising Star Round 4 nominees are Tiana Smith and Becky Webster. Both of them now have $500 in their pockets thanks to NAB. So excellent news there for them, but the big news, of course, was Maddie Prespakis, the reigning AFLW best and fairest winner out of this round, Indigenous round, which would have a very special, significant meaning to her as well. What did you make of that dangerous tackle on Sarah Hosking?
Yeah, well, it's hard to know what role Sarah Hosking's momentum played in. I mean, she came flying in, going after that ball, but by the definition of what we know to be a dangerous tackle, this probably fits.
Yeah.
And thankfully Sarah was okay, but you can kind of see what Maddie was doing. Carlton really needed a spark and an injection of energy, and it was always going to be her to provide it. It just goes to show that the fine line between that, trying to create a spark physically, and something that goes the other side of the rules is so fine, and that's the tricky thing as in a physical sport like footy. And unfortunately, yeah, Maddie will miss this week, which is a shame for the competition any time, but let alone in Indigenous round, as you said.
Well, certainly, because they faced North Melbourne, who are coming off 2 losses, and the Blues still on shaky ground. They weren't really convincing against the Tigers. They really need Maddie Prespakis. They'll have to work out a way to win without her. Another one of the clashes that I'm really looking forward to this week is your game up against Collingwood. What have you noticed that makes them stand out?
Well, they're looking like the team to beat so far. I mean, they're not just 4 and zip, but they've taken out the 2 big scalps in Carlton and North Melbourne, but it's their work rate that really impresses me, and Britt Benici drives so much of it. You see here from a free kick in the middle of a ground, her ability to get out wide to the wing, and then on turnover, she's their first player back. So just that work rate, what it does is it spreads the ground enormously, and it means that you're defending such a bigger area of the ground, and that's what makes them really hard to play against. Britt Benici drives it, but there's also Davey, Lambert, and Chloe Malloy, her class up forward and ability to come and, pinch hit in the midfield as well. They're a very difficult side to beat.
Yeah, I'm not envious of you having to go out there because there's a lot of dangerous players to think about. From your perspective, though, against the Dogs, you had 38 inside 50s to 19, just weren't able to convert those opportunities. But do you have to look at how you go inside 50, because you've got someone like a Stacey Livingston who's just ready to pick them off if you bomb it long?
Yeah, absolutely. If we're predictable this week, a Stacey Livingston, even a Jordan Allen who reads the ball really well, Ruby Schleicher, those type of players will really feast on that. So, yeah, we need to address that from last week, be a bit less predictable, try and move the defence a little bit more. I mean, some of our issues last week were unique to Whitten Oval and that dead pocket out there, and we didn't adjust quick enough, but it's certainly something we're going to be looking at improving this week. They are a very proactive defensive line as well, so if we can make them defend and keep them worried on defence, it'll take away a bit of their drive as well.
Well, one Magpie that you will be familiar with is Alicia Newman, of course, a former teammate of yours who defected from the Ds in the off-season, and you managed to catch up with her during the week for a chat.
This is a question I've hung around in the Melbourne and Collingwood shared car park a couple of times late at night wanting to ask you, but I thought I'd use it as our loosener. Why did you leave the Ds?
It had absolutely nothing to do with the girls or the club or anything like that. I absolutely loved the girls. I think it was just a new challenge for me. I think I'd been at the club for 4 years, and I think I was just looking for something different, really. But yeah, definitely nothing against the girls at all.
Well, I'll stop drilling you on the pies. Well, I won't. I'll come back to that. But the real reason I was excited to talk to you is because, of course, it's Indigenous round. Let's start with, who's your mob and what country are you from?
So my mom's Ningi Ningi, so it's up in Sunshine Coast of Queensland. And yeah, as long I haven't actually been back on country yet, but hopefully in the next coming months.
But you mentioned your involvement in promoting the round and the league, and one of the big things you've been involved in is painting the W logo.
So on the black piece of the design, I've kind of created a journey of where we've been going for the past 5 years. And on the yellow area, I think it was mainly, I wanted to, I guess, give a shout out to all the pioneers, and you're one of them, Days, pioneers of the AFLW competition. And then in the red area, I wanted to, I guess, pay tribute to everybody that's playing at the moment, and then everyone that kind of came before us within the 5 years that we've been playing.
On the jumper that I'll get to wear, which was, as you know, was designed by Crystal Petrevsky, there's a lovely gesture and a call out to you as a Ningi Ningi woman and your handprint on the jumper. Is that going to make you feel guilty when you speak up in team meetings this week about intel about our side and when you start giving tips away?
No, I haven't actually been asked just yet about coming up against you guys. I think, I'm not sure if I will be able to give away all the dirty secrets. I am still, deep down, I am still a D. So, but yeah, no, I haven't been asked just yet. I'm sure it's coming though.
Love it. That was just a little snippet of Daisy's chat with Alicia. If you want to see the full interview, it's online now. What an admission that deep down, she's still a D.
I may just remind her of that.
I think
she's
you
out
should.
there on the weekend.
Is there a bit of sledging and banter that goes on between
always.
the girls?
You play footy, Nat. You know
I
there.
know, it's good fun. Time now for Star Power. And Days, apparently the 30s are your new 20s, because there are a couple of guns who are in their mid to late 30s who are playing like they're 21. This is Erin Phillips and, of course, Cora Staunton. They're who I'm speaking of. But Erin was sublime on the weekend against the Lions.
Was she ever? All this talk about the young stars. What about the old girls?
Yes.
I'm glad we've been able to fit this in. I mean, Erin, what a response after her one and probably only misfire of her career last week against Freo, and comes out and responds like this. Kept her a bit closer to goal, and you know, her aerial ability and then her finishing this week was outstanding. And then Cora Staunton. She never ceases to amaze me.
Incredible.
Every time I watch her, 39 years old, and picked up the sport late, having had a hugely successful, the most successful Gaelic player over in Ireland.
And then she broke her leg 2 years ago. We thought she wouldn't come back, and somehow, so determined, she's done so. Spent 2 weeks in quarantine, got out on Christmas Day, 4 goals. Are you going to be playing at 39?
I know it's very cliche, but it's not. I mean this. Just 1 week at a time, Nat.
You're not that old.
No, is the short answer.
Amazing stuff, and we want to see more out of those women. So fantastic. We will talk about some young stars of the game, though, which is going to make us feel very old in a second. But let's talk NAB AFL Women's Rising Star. And, of course, the winner at the end of the season will get $20,000 plus a private banker to help with their financial future. But I want to look at Tiana Smith from the Saints. Pick 6 last year. She's such a big talent.
Is she ever? I mean, this is a sign of how much the depth's increasing for her to get through to pick 6. But just so clean, so composed. She never looks overwhelmed or stressed in any situation. And then her kicking skills are the thing that impress most. I mean, we'll see a couple of times here, just inviting Greiser onto the ball rather than kicking it to her or at her. She puts it in a spot that Greiser, you know, her defender just can't defend.
Nah, she's fantastic, ex-basketballer. She's certainly a great athlete, and I can't wait to see where her career goes to so early on and already so talented. Time now for the buzz. Now, this was a beautiful moment. We had Geelong's Georgie Rankin kick her very first AFL goal, and this was the reaction from her grandparents. Look at this. How
sweet.
cute. I actually had a tear when I watched this. It was so sweet.
Isn't it beautiful? Just shows that when you're out there playing footy, you take your whole family on the journey, the ups and downs, and an outpouring of emotion when she got her first ever goal. So sweet.
A beautiful moment. Now, we do know our AFLW players are talented on the field, but some of them have secret talents off the field too. Check this out.
Lily has a secret talent. You'll have to get her to do it for you because I'm not going to try, but she does this weird thing with her mouth, and yeah, you just have to see it. Yeah, just put on repeat.
I like to dance, I like to sing, I can make a trumpet noise with my mouth.
I love that she just absolutely pisses herself every time she does that. Also, Lily Mithen's just a freak.
I don't know where that special talent's going to get her, but you just can't take your eyes off her
Do
doing
you
it.
have a special talent?
What, with my mouth? Does it have to be with my mouth?
This is G-rated, mate.
No, not that, but I do have a special talent. It's not a hidden talent amongst the Melbourne girls because I harp on about it all the time, but I reckon I'd be in the top 5% for backwards running in the competition.
Backwards running. Okay, that's pretty good. I've got
2K time trial forwards, back of
No
the pack, no good. Do it backwards and I reckon I'd have Paxman covered.
I actually think I would like to see that, by the way, so we're going to try and organise that thing. But I think you've got another secret talent here. It might be falconing yourself in the face. That's not easy to do.
Well, it happens a lot. They're just not the ones I usually choose to put on the video. But I chose to upload it because whenever I use that thing on my social media, people say, oh, if I did that, it would hit me in the face. Me too.
Yeah, it happens. It happens. Is there a special connection with the family and Steph Williams?
Well, yes, actually. She's a bit of an honorary family member at the moment. My dad rented his house out for about 2 months during the fruit picking season, so I had nowhere to live. Went to Darwin, as you do. And he came across Steph Williams' mum. So they've spent the entire AFLW season so far watching games together.
Oh my gosh.
And poor Steph will ring her mum post-match to debrief and ends up with a coaching session one-on-one with my old man. So sorry, Steph. But no, it sounds like our parents are having a whole lot of fun together.
I'm sure they are. Now, Indigenous round, of course, so many fabulous Indigenous Guernseys going around. Which one is your favourite? And I'm asking this because I probably know the answer is going to be Melbourne.
They're all wonderful and not just amazing to look at, but to hear the stories behind them and the meaning and the people that have drawn them, and the ones that are done or that have been created by the players are really special, I think. To think that you'd be running out there wearing a jumper that means so much to some of your teammates, and that's why the Melbourne one is my favourite, because of the story behind it with KP. What's your favourite?
Probably Freo or Gold Coast for mine. I think they're both really, really brilliant. Now, we should mention as well that the Indigenous women's symbol will also be painted outside the centre square during all games. This was drawn by Narelle Long. It's actually on T-shirts as well, which you can buy. It's a U shape which represents the earth. You've got one there. A Coolaman bowl in the middle, which is a gathering tool, and then some digging sticks on the side. So that is the Indigenous women's symbol, which will be painted outside the centre circle during the matches this weekend, which is brilliant.
And this is the great thing about it, isn't it? Like, you just learn something. With every little bit of the culture we celebrate, we learn something new, so it's great.
Yeah, it's brilliant. I do love it. Now, this weekend's matches, let's take a look. What are you looking forward to?
I usually try and steer clear of my own game, but I just can't. Not this week. I mean, as you said, powerhouse of the competition at the moment, flawless start, but these are the games. If you don't get excited about these ones, what do you get excited about?
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that one. I will be at that game, but also I think Friday night, Geelong Richmond. I think Richmond's going to get its first ever AFLW win on Friday night, so I'm looking forward to seeing that.
It will be a good one. They've been better than their results suggest, I think.
They
the Tigers.
certainly
They had
have.
a tough draw.
Oh, they have indeed, and improving every week. Well, best of luck on the weekend. Can't wait to talk to you next week about the result.
You too. I hear you've got a practice match for old Camberwell as well.
I do. First game in 2 years. I'm going to be very sore next week, so just be kind to me.
Go well. Good to see community footy back up and running
It
as well.
sure is. Thanks, Days, for joining us, and thank you so much for watching The W Show. Thanks to NAB. We'll see you again next week.